It's football season, and this morning we thought it would be fun to go into the TMJ4 vault. 7 years ago, I interviewed then TMJ4 sportscaster Jessie Garcia. She had just written a book, My Life with the Green and Gold, 20 years of covering the Packers. I sat down with her for a candid conversation about her life in a then male-dominated industry.
In sports tonight, it was a chance for the Badgers to see how good they really are.
Jessie Garcia was the first female to anchor a sports broadcast in the state of Wisconsin, but she admits being a mom is her #1 job.
7.
Oh, red fire. Oh, you already own that. Nice.
All right.
Jessie and her family are here playing appropriately a game of Packers Monopoly.
I need to get going.
You do have to get going.
Jess, what was the impetus behind you getting into sports journalism?
I loved journalism from such an early age and never wanted to be anything else except somebody who told stories.
Believe it or not, her love of sports came relatively late.
Growing up, I don't remember watching a single sporting event.
As a child, Jess was raised mainly by a mom who Jessie says does not understand football. But Jessie's love of sports grew when her stepdad came into her life.
Probably when I was 12, he started taking me to Badger basketball games. And that was my first get hooked moment.
Sports reporting was a perfect match.
And really thought to myself, I would rather do this than be covering the negative news. Yeah, I want to be covering something that's fun and makes people happy for the most part.
Garcia grew up in Madison. Her mother was a carpenter and an architectural designer who taught her she could do anything. Garcia began her career as a sports reporter at WISC in Madison. Have you found any problems because you're a female as opposed to a male?
I remember one night a man called up and he said, I am never going to watch Channel 3 again because you're a chick and chicks know nothing about sports. And I was pretty floored.
But ultimately, Jessie conquered the doubters and proved her worth.
I just sort of had assumed that everybody in Madison would be on board with having a female sportscaster, and that wasn't the case. Now, thankfully, there were not that many incidents like that. And in the end, it probably made me stronger because I had to work harder to prove to people that I did know sports.
Jess has written a book about her 20 years of sportscasting called My Life with the Green and Gold.
I just wanted to present myself as a real person with flaws and mistakes and, all of that sort of stuff, because we all are. I mean, nobody wants to read a book about somebody who's perfect, because none of us are.
She also teaches at Mount Mary College. She's had many opportunities to go national or to bigger markets, but she's happy here.
People have said to me, have you ever wanted to go to ESPN or something like that? And I never have. I'm very content in a comfortable community that's, just has so many benefits to it that we really love it. Pay $40 per locker room.
Garcia says this is a great place for her and her husband to raise their 2 sons, Jake and Charlie.
I had a math quiz today.
How did it go?
It's math.
And the sportscaster, author, and teacher is already hard at work on another book. But for now, her MVPs are right here at home. How do you want your kids to see you as they get older? How do you want them to remember their mom by?
I want them to see somebody who did what she wanted to do, chased after a career, a dream, a job, but also kept them as the highest priority through everything.
Carol Meekins, today's TMJ4.
Fast forward 7 years and so much has changed. And joining me now is Jessie Garcia. I really like to call her the Renaissance woman because she can do everything.
Carol, you are too kind. I could say the same about you, though. Thank you.
No, you amaze me. And I can't believe, it's been this long. What's your reaction after seeing that piece? After all these years, your babies look so young.
I know. I couldn't believe it because Jake, my oldest, is now a senior in college. At the University of Minnesota. And then, my younger one is a junior in high school. So just looking at how, they have gotten so much older was a lot of fun. Of course, I've aged too.
Jessie, I have followed your career, and you began as a sportscaster, very popular, very famous local sportscaster. Then you became a college instructor, an author, and then you've done a lot of things that a lot of people just say they might do, but then you've done them. Now, can you tell our audience, because a lot of people may not even know, you're back at the station in management. Tell us about your role here at TMJ4 right now.
So about almost 2 years ago now, I took a job back at TMJ4 as one of the assistant news directors. My title is broadcast director. I oversee the anchors, I oversee the weather team, the sports team, and all of the producers. And my job is what is broadcast over the air? You know, how are we looking? What are we doing? How are we showcasing things? And I love my job. It's been great. You know, stepping into management, it's different, but I love it. I love to be able to think big picture about the future of TV, which is an industry I've loved since the 1970s when I, first was watching all those, nightly news shows back then, and those iconic anchors. And so, I'm really enjoying this new role that I'm in, and it's great fun. And I still do write on the side as well.
Can you give us a sample of what you're doing right now, of some of your writings?
So one was with the family of Casey Fitzrandolph, who's a speed skater from Verona, Wisconsin, and he won a gold medal in the Salt Lake City Olympics. And the book follows his journey to a gold, and then also tragically his sisters then battle and passing from breast cancer. So the incredible highs and lows that this family had. So I wrote that book with them. That's called No Stone Unturned. And then that book is out. And then also I wrote a book on the history of Wisconsin Olympians, which starts in 1900 with our very first Olympian who actually invented hurdling, the modern hurdling technique, and goes all the way through, recent times, modern days. So that's called Going for Wisconsin Gold. So those are both out. And then after that, it was so much fun, I decided I wanted to try writing some fiction, which I never really had done before. So I have written a couple of novels, a couple of thrillers. One or two of them are still sitting on my computer that I'm still perfecting. But I did record one as an audiobook. It's called Death at the Dog Park.
That sounds so dark, Jesse.
No dogs are hurt in this book.
That's good.
It's set in Wisconsin in a fictional town outside of Madison. And it was something I thought of when I was at the dog park with my dog. And it's about a young mother who's just moved from Chicago to a suburb in Wisconsin. And she discovers a cold case murder in this small town. And she decides she wants to sniff around, and the more she uncovers, the more she realizes the town is full of suspects. So there you go.
Thank you, Jesse, for being with us on Positively Milwaukee this morning. You're the essence of positive people.
Thank you, Carolyn. So are you. I just so appreciate the Positively Milwaukee franchise and the show and everything you do for Milwaukee.
Well, thank you, Jesse. And Jesse is also working on another book. Guess what? This is a thriller based in a TV newsroom. So I can't wait for that. And all of her books are available on Amazon.